And I vow I will never look like a pumpkin again, as God is my witness.
They're so good that I couldn't sleep knowing they were in there. Like every 2 hours, I'd wake up and go, jalapeno poppers in there. Because these food storage jokes crush. After they left, I called my friend and said, my parents wanted me to get a haircut, so I ran away. And he was like, you're dead. I don't know what to tell you.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.
So, we're a little late this week, and I cannot tell a lie. It is completely not our fault. Micro Center in Towson, it is their fault. Our laptop, which was a really nice laptop, fried itself just a hair out of warranty. And
When we had been recording an interview the night before.
Yeah. And they wouldn't help us at all. They wouldn't give us any loan or wouldn't help us at all. Fuck you, basically. So I wrote a nice review of them, and it says, if you'd like a sack of shit and a cheap suit to tell you that you're out of warranty, by all means, go to Micro Center.
You know, and this isn't a big corporation. This is like a small, I mean, they're a one-store operation, you know, and we really would hope that they'd offer to fix it or give us a discount on fixing it. Or, I mean, I certainly didn't expect them to hand us a new one, but.
These two idiots, they actually said, I said, laptops don't die in 12, 13 months. And they were like, yes, they do. And I said, that's what you're selling. And then, so follow this logic. Here's their logic. They said, oh, no, you'll have much better luck going directly to the manufacturer. And I'm thinking, who's going to have more leverage with the manufacturer? Someone who buys hundreds of laptops and sells them each year for them, knows all the contacts, or Mark Marchman calling for the first time. Hi, you don't know me, but I need a favor. Give me a break. It doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint.
Like they were going to stand behind it so we didn't go giving them bad reviews, which, by the way, we already did. We saw some guy looking at this computer on the showroom floor and we advised him against it.
I'm not going to pick it or anything like that. That's for loony birds. But I just wanted to say, we're really sorry that we were a few days late, but we are going to make up for it. We got a lot of great interviews in the hopper now, and we are feral about the show. So
working hard on it, people.
Okay, let's talk about what I call the barbershop blues. When I was growing up, haircuts were always a bone of contention with me and my parents, okay? My parents always thought my hair was too long. All three of us, me and my two brothers. My mom not only made it abundantly clear that long hair looked like shit, but she also appointed herself as the official nice haircut surveyor. So if we were watching TV and somebody like Tom Cruise or Rick Astley came on the screen, it was always, oh, what a handsome young man. Look at that nice haircut. He actually looks like he comes from a nice family, not a bum on the street like my three. What a delight, my mother. Yes. Subsequently, if someone had long hair, there was clearly something wrong with him, like Mel Gibson, or let's say, for example, she would say, my, that Patrick Swayze is in such good shape. If only he would get his hair cut. And I always wanted to say, what then, Mom? Then you'd consider dating him? I mean, I really don't think that it's up to you, you know. This is great. One time, I was about 15, right? And my parents made their announcement that we're all getting haircuts today. And they tried to get us out in the car. I ran away. I ran into the woods behind our house. I had just seen First Blood, and I thought I can live in the woods like Rambo. He had long hair. Why not? You know.
Were you tying the scarf around your head?
I was ready to kill a boar. I thought, yay, bacon, right? God, they were so pissed, right? They took it out on my brothers. So my brothers didn't get normal haircuts because my parents were so angry. They got like Marine style buzz cuts. And I still hear about it. My brothers they still tell me, thanks a lot for that. Yeah, they took it out on us. I remember after they left, I called my friend and said, my parents wanted me to get a haircut, so I ran away. And he was like, you're dead. I don't know what to tell you. You're dead. No, thanks a lot. Yeah. So anyway.
Oddly enough, you know what? My mother also loved me with short hair.
You?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I have one of those amusement park commissioned on the spot profile drawings where my bangs and bowl cut are immortalized in pastels.
Do they still do that? It's like a portrait, like a boardwalk portrait.
character drawings. These were more like official portraits.
Yeah.
But they were always profile. It wasn't your full face. So it kind of looked like a freaking mugshot.
Yeah.
But, as soon as I could voice an opinion, I did not want to get my hair cut. I wanted long hair, and my mom would pick it up between her fingers and tell me how stringy it was.
So she had short hair?
Oh, yeah. My mother's always had short hair. She would have such disdain reserved for icky messes when picking through my hair. And her refrain was always like, get it cut short. It would be so cute. You'd look like Dorothy Hamill. My eyes would slide to that awful drawing, and I vow I will never look like a pumpkin again, as God is my witness.
That's a good vow. I like that vow. Yeah. So another story. I remember going to some Christmas bazaar at my ex's church.
Bizarre.
My daughter was in a wheelchair at the time. This is like 20 years ago, right? And after carrying my daughter through the snow, dragging her wheelchair along up 4 rickety flights of stairs, I was pretty exhausted, and I didn't really want to go to this thing anyway, right? So, and normally I wouldn't do this, but I was so pissed that I saw the pastor there. He was milling around like with a bunch of old ladies that were like bidding on plants or something. This is what they do. And I actually said something to him. I said, hey, is the church planning on installing wheelchair ramps for people with disabilities anytime soon? And he just looked at me and like touched me on the shoulder and said, Merry Christmas, Mr. Marchman.
Wow.
And he went back to his conversation with Mildred and Gertrude.
I think that's a loosely veiled fuck off.
So I would not be deterred. I followed it up. I said, because the House of Lucifer up on Fullerton, totally ADA compliant. Plus, they're installing an espresso bar. And he just like looked at me. I said, Claudia's House of Ill Repute actually has valet service and lightning fast free Wi-Fi. Purgatory Paul's Brewery on Kenwood Avenue is offering free lap dances if you meet the 2-drink minimum. I always thought it would be great way to end that story if the priest had said something like, well, the Heretics Biker Club on Route 40 has much better lap dances, though. That would have been sweet justice. But anyway, here's to you.
Our feature interview this week is Shane Mehling of the Seattle-based sludge metal band Great Falls. It's a super fun chat. We cover the making of their latest fantastic EP, Objects Without Pain, as well as the evils of Spotify, the intensity of German metal fans, and a festive round of blaspheming monikers. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. All right. So let's crush it. This is a song from Great Falls. This is Trap Feeding. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcasts. For $6.66 a month, you get all kinds of bonus footage that you can't find anywhere else. More mark and stakes than you can choke a camel with. This week, I am writing a bunch of reviews on Ulcerate as well as Enslaved. So you'll have to head over to Patreon to check those out.
Plus, and I'm going to add, I'm going to show you how to make actual jalapeno poppers in your air fryer. So,
they're so good.
darn it, you're going to have to eat them again.
They're so good that I couldn't sleep knowing they were in there. Like every 2 hours, I'd wake up and go, jalapeno poppers in there. And I would eat one and then I'd go back to sleep again until they were gone. Yeah.
Yeah, so come over to Instagram, Facebook pages. Don't forget to follow this channel. We put out lots of stuff on Instagram, polls, seeing what you're into, what you like. I even had a thing on what my hair color should be for a while.
Yep.
So definitely give us input, and that'll make a better show for you.
It's a madcap time. Okay. So this next bit is called I'm So Glad. One of the daily tribulations for commuting to work is finding a vessel to pack your lunch in. Gladware, Tupperware, whatever. It comes in these neat little packages when you first bring it home. After a few months, you end up with like 6 different mismatched shapes and an avalanche of lids. Every time you open the cabinet, they come pouring out. Every morning is like trying to solve some sadistic food container riddle. Damn it, the bowl's round, but the lid has squared edges. Wait a minute. The lid says Rubbermaid, but the bowl says Snapware. I'm never going to be on time for work today. I'm the only one that ends up matching is always the huge quart-sized container. So you end up dragging this coffin-sized thing to work with 3 muffins in it.
God, I swear it's like someone took our lids and left us lids for containers from 1929.
Yeah.
It's like the lost soccer glove thing, because as soon as you throw it out, the freaking lid falls out of some hidden cabinet area.
Uh-huh.
Ugh, horrible.
Yeah.
You know, or like when you wraps the bottom up with saran wrap because you can't find the freaking lid.
Kind of defeats the purpose of the whole thing.
You know, and you're like, I swear the lids, it looks like it should fit. This is square, but nope, they don't. You know, maybe they shrunk in the dishwasher.
They need to come up with something called Found It Where, like an AI system where the lid notifies you which bowl fits and where it is. That's a practical use for AI. Yeah.
You know, or maybe like, do you remember Garanimals?
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't remember, I think they're still around. For the fashion challenged, if you matched up a shirt with a zebra with a shorts with a zebra matching set. I don't know why they just didn't sell matching sets, but I guess it was more fun to hunt through the tags. So I think they should make them, you know, all the storage wear like that. So you could just match up zebra to zebra, monkey to monkey, and you would know you have a match set right away.
Yeah.
You know, but with our luck, I would just be sitting there with a polar bear and a donkey yelling, where the fuck is the other polar bear?
Another thing, because these food storage jokes crush. Whenever I buy sandwich bags, I end up accidentally getting those mini-sized snack bags, which suspiciously come in the same container as the full-size bags. But who is actually using the snack bags? I mean, they're just too damn small to put anything in there. How much plastic are we saving with this invention? I would like to get all 3 carrot sticks in. They're not going. Yeah.
You can't put 6 grapes in there.
No, you can't. Yeah.
Maybe even mini marshmallows, maybe 3.
Remember the trash bag thing?
We had these trash bags that smelled horrible.
Well, we didn't know what it was.
No.
She worked out, and then we were in the kitchen together, and I said, "What'd you put Bengay on?" And she's like, "I don't put Bengay on." I'm like, "Something smells like Bengay in here," and then we're like sniffing each other, tearing the kitchen apart, trying to find the smell, and we just keep stopping. You sure it's not you? No.
You know, I
Turned
think,
out it was a trash bag.
yeah, I think we spent an hour looking for the source of the Bengay smell.
Mm.
And all the dogs and cats at random intervals, we were sniffing them.
Because
You know,
they're putting
I was wondering if the dog was farting Bengay farts. But
calico head,
yeah.
a pulled muscle, and was Bengay. Yeah.
Eureka, it was the trash bags. And the weird part was that it was not labeled that they were supposed to be scented anything.
Right. It was really strong too. So I think now Costco is going to come up with Costco Force Flex bags now with crime scene cleanup bleach scent. And coming soon, nursing home rug scented bags. So let's play another song. Why not?
This is the endless road home. All right, so our ad this week is for Imperfect Foods. Now, Imperfect is a food service which peddles things that might not have made it to market, that are overstocked, slightly imperfect, but always delicious.
Yes.
They have a lot of their own brands, and they get delivered right to your door. Anything over $60 ships for free. Let me show you some of the wonderful things that we have not yet eaten, which is most of our imperfect orders.
We ate most of the stuff.
Yeah, we had some great steel trout, which was really good, and we also had some peri peri chicken, which is long gone. Their meats are fantastic, and let me show you how they're packaged. They're sealed, vacuum sealed.
I mean that tomorrow.
They're vacuum sealed. They're not some plastic ware on some flimsy styrofoam dish. So I think it stays very fresh like this. This is some grass-fed ground beef, and they have a lot to choose from. I don't know. The only thing about Imperfect sometimes is if you see a product you want, you should buy it because it might not be back for a while.
Yeah.
We got these Raging Brats, which have Raging Bitch beer in them. They are fantastic. They don't even need mustard.
It didn't survive for a day. No.
Imperfect is now also a point system since they joined with Misfit Market. So they have more products. And as you buy things, you accumulate points that you can trade. This week we got a bag of chips, and this is almost gone, but slice cheddar cheese slices. This is also the Imperfect brand. Guess what? They were free to us.
Yep.
So you can, as you spend, you earn. You need pantry items. They have their own spices. This is Imperfect garlic powder. They do some McCormick overstock too. Also some salsa roja.
Why have we not eaten that yet?
Well, I think we
You
haven't
know,
had any chips. Which is the only reason it survived. Really good salsa, both the sources. Even staples like butter. So use our link, get over there. It'll save you $20 off your first order, and you don't have to hassle with the dumb grocery stores that don't give you bags anymore.
Okay, let's play the theme from Campfire.
Because streaming services are evil corporations that gatekeep bands from their fans and pay them pennies while collecting millions.
This is Campfire.
Campfire this week is the long-running Italian speed crust thrash band Children of Technology. The site is childrenoftechnology.bandcamp.com. And let me just say that when Mad Max came out in the 80s, I had never seen anything like it. It had such a, it might have had more impact on me than any other movie as a boy. I mean, just the whole post-apocalyptic driving the badass car,
Feral people.
everybody's in black. The punks are trying to steal your gasoline, and so you're like slashing each other up. It was freaking mind-blowing. And Children Technology are Mad Max obsessed. So since forming in 2007, the post-apocalyptic Mad Max obsessed trio have released 3 full lengths and a ton of splits and EPs. The band is
Deathlord Ostwolf on vocals, DD Alter on drums, and Boris Crossburn, bass and guitar.
Yeah, how can you get wrong with that? I mean, come on. We're going to focus on their latest record, 2020's Written Destiny. So I feared these spaghetti road warriors had retired their mutton chops. So you can imagine my glee upon receiving the spastic plastic with the gotta have it retro Reagan era metal artwork courtesy of the legendary artist Vilio Josto. Sadly, their sexy metal babe of a drummer had been replaced and the band paired to a trio. But there's no need for concern, as this thing is all guts and gears, churning, steamrolling our meager minds to mush. Crossburns blasphemously pulls note-dense bass and guitar duties as foreground to DD Alter swinging away-inspired metronomics, and Deathlord's Asswolf's sullen rancor that courts everything from crust to thrash back again. So why don't you introduce the song?
This is Wasteland Crate Diggers.
So continuing on with our gushing of Children of Technology.
They know what we like.
Yes, they do.
Bonded by blood, hard panning and back building, fall away drums, fits of waiting the hour of reprisal, cymbal downstrike smashes, gang choruses, and a partridge in a pear tree. Honestly, is there any scenario where a song called War Painted Night Creatures wouldn't rule?
There isn't.
The title track steals all your gasoline with a hellacious main riff, a surging thrash groove, and a brainless destruction-informed chorus.
Children of Technology get it. They've always gotten it. Digged away the final track, Wasteland Crate Diggers, that we just played for you, goes into 3 minutes of campy 80s horror keys for the finale. They've thought of everything. So let's play a song. This is War Painted Night Creatures. Okay, so let's introduce the interview.
This is our chat with Shane. We had a great chat about Great Fall's latest album, Objects Without Pain. We talk about the origins of the band. We get into a little deeper dive on their latest record, as well hear about a lot of tours and plans and
Specific shows.
specific shows. So let's take it away with our interview.
Yep. Well, at last we speak. This is great.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Well,
really enjoying Objects Without Pain. I was your interviewer. I was your reviewer when we did this, so I kind of got to do a deep dive and really, really loved it. So
Oh, well, thank
very,
you.
very excited about talking to you about everything. I've got lots of questions. I tried to do as great Fozzy shirt as I could think of. Tried to get the red in there.
Yeah, that's good.
So originally, when you guys got together when you were teens, do you remember what the original vision for the band was?
Got together, I'm sorry, when?
When you first got together, when you were teens, is that right?
No. Well, initially, I moved to Seattle when I was 20 to be in this band Playing Enemy, which was Damien, the guitar player and singer, and a drummer. And we did that band for I was in the band for about 5 years, and then we broke up. And then Damien and I did like some noise nonsense for some years, sort of just being dumb and having no idea what to do. And around like 2009, that noise thing was called Hemingway. And then around 2009, we decided to kind of get back into real songs and like structures and actually like try again, I guess. And so around like 2009, I think we changed the name, and we initially used a drum machine. We did a whole record on a drum machine, and we didn't know what we were doing. And so at some point we were like, we should probably just get a drummer. So Damien and I had our old drummer Phil for about 10 years or a little longer than that. And then that kind of fell apart a couple years ago. And we called our friend Nick, who lives in Portland, or outside of Portland, which is 3 hours away from Seattle, where we practice. And he was like, sure, I'll do it. And so when he came in, it was just like the band just kind of like made the most sense to us kind of ever. So everything on the record, a lot of it was written before Nick, but him coming in, it was like a whole different band essentially. So
Yeah, his drumming is stunning on this
well,
record.
yeah.
Between like the rolling and crashing cymbals and it's like waves. It's amazing. So I really, I agree with you.
Yeah, we're very thankful that he was willing to do it. So
Yeah, the way that the names are listed out online, it makes it sound like Great Falls is like everybody's side project. Is that kind of what it is, or?
No, it's just all of the well, Nick plays in this band Gatheist still, and that's down in his down in Portland. And so he still plays with them quite a bit. But Damien and I still do like little things here and there, mostly Damien, but this is our band. It's just that we usually just kind of throw in those other names that maybe someone's heard of through the years, but most people haven't heard of them, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I was trying to speculate how you came about the name Great Falls. And my theory was it was like, because it was like a waterfall, it was big, heavy, organic, and just chaotic all at the same time. Am I close?
Well, I mean, I think that the associations you're making are like pretty good. I mean, we had just come up with a name because I had a friend who was from Great Falls, Montana, and he wanted to name a bar Great Falls, and I was like, oh, that's a cool name for a bar. And then when he's like, yeah, that's not happening, we were just like, oh, I'll just steal it. So
That's great. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. There's an interview with Buzz Evans where somebody had put all this time into trying to figure out the lyrics to one of his songs, and it was this elaborate thing. And he goes, "Actually, that song's about my cat." You know what I mean? It was like, oh fuck, not even close. You know?
There's definitely times where, you kind of just want to be like, hey, your interpretation is way better than anything we could come up with. So
Right, right.
let's just go with that.
It's like I like your story better than the real story, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and if it was a bar, they'd have to use all that, just fall in, metaphors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a whole thing on the show about how for bars and restaurants people will put up with a lot crazier names. Like you're not going to go to Dirty Dick's accounting firm, but Dirty Dick's is a great name for a restaurant,
Sure,
or a bar, yeah. So
yeah, I'll definitely drink a Dirty
Or a
Dick.
band.
Dirty Dick's funeral home wouldn't go well,
Oh, maybe not from grandma. No, maybe not so much.
So okay, so I'm not going to try to speculate anymore because I'm way off. Where did you get the title Objects Without Pain? Because there's a lot of pain here.
Yeah.
Not the objects.
I mean that is actually something also where sort of like the connotations kind of felt good for us, and it just seemed to really fit, but we didn't have like necessarily a direct correlation between the name and the lyrics. It was a name that just sort of had popped up at some point, and it was just something that felt sort of, yeah, I guess representative in like kind of a ironic sort of way, or just sort of a an attempt to kind of try to place everything in the record that was, it is a very like emotionally sort of hard on your sleeve kind of record. And I think that the name itself was just sort of an attempt to kind of frame it in a to say ironic is maybe wrong, but just sort of like to frame it in a way of like maybe for Damien, who writes all the lyrics, and a very sort of emotional record for him. I think it was just sort of a way to kind of allow him to remove himself from it for a little bit, and sort of just kind of discuss the record like in this sort of remove from maybe what the lyrics are. But again, it's another one of those things where we kind of like the interpretations that people have given us are far more interesting and compelling than anything we can say. So
How about the cover art? I think I was really interested in. Is that someone you know? Where did the cover art come from?
That is not someone we know. No, though there have been some guesses as to who that may be, but that is just Damien is artist and designer, and he had just painted this face that he thought, it was just sort of a dark, our last record, we had Damien's done the art for pretty much everything we've ever done. And the last record, we had a friend of ours do the art, and the art's great, but it was definitely not really our aesthetic. And so for this one, we kind of decided like, we got to go back. Like, Damien, you got to kind of be a little more like hands-on with this, and we didn't want the cover art to sort of be unrepresentative of what the album sounds like. And we're like, well, we want people to kind of know what they're getting into. So he painted it, and then we had our friend come in and take great photos of it, and we paid him.
It's a good representative of the music. Definitely.
Yeah, I like how it's kind of like abstract and not abstract all the time with the blacked out eyes, and it's kind of just partially a face but still recognizable as one. So
yeah. I mean, and the photo itself that our friend took, like, close up, it's really nice. Just on the record, it's just, a lot of contours, and you can kind of see all the paint sort of really mashed on there, and so we liked that quite a bit.
Almost reminds me of like something might be on an Edgar Allan Poe cover.
Sure.
Just talk about some of the songs on the album. Like the song Dragged Home Alive, there's squeaks and car door slams and a woman's voice. Like it almost seems like there's something going on in the background. What was behind all that stuff?
Well, actually, it's actually the door to the studio that we recorded in this studio Litho in Seattle. We actually the sounds sort of before the door closes is just right outside the studio. We just put a mic out there on the sidewalk and recorded the traffic and everything, and then we put some noise altered version of Damien's dogs barking on top of it. And without sounding too pretentious, sort of the whole kind of thing was sort of, the door shuts and Damien starts playing and we kind of just spend the whole time in the on the album sort of like away from his problems of the outside world, and then at the end of the record we open the door again and he kind of goes back into his issues. So as far as Lillian, who's our friend, this incredible musician in Australia, she did all of the any of the female vocals you hear is all from her. And we just wanted we worked really hard on making sure that the album wasn't like accusatory, or Damien has a hard time not sort of making himself the bad guy, and we had really I had especially pushed for him to not make this so that anyone listening to it is like she's in the wrong or he's in the wrong or whatever. Just this idea of like it's a relationship that isn't working, regardless of the desires or sort of personalities of either person. And there's no bad guy in the record. And I think that because we wanted that sort of like equitable understanding, we wanted to have some sort of woman representation in the record. If not like completely explicit, her being like, I'm the other aggrieved party on this album, like at least just giving a voice to that other person on the album to kind of again make it feel less of a the breakup records that I think we wanted to avoid were just the breakup records where it's a man screaming at a woman or a man begging a woman to come back or anything like that. It was in total, we wanted people to just kind of come away from the album understanding like how relationships kind of fall apart without necessarily anyone being in the wrong.
Right.
I really like the imagery about like the key being too heavy, and it was really good.
It's tricky to find the right when you're trying to put found sounds into a song. I mean, it can be tricky to get the right ones. We're in the midst of doing a bit about, I wrote a song about how I'm afraid of the lottery. And I want to get a voiceover for the guitar solo of these women in the liquor store that are like, I'll take the 13, got to get my 22, because they have a system, but I got to figure out a way to do it where they don't know I'm recording them. You know what I mean? Like, so
Sure.
It's not an easy thing. I'm still working that out, so.
Yeah,
You can't just have some stunt people come in and buy lotto tickets.
No, I want these women that are professionals because they get it. I'm the one that
they understand.
So
that's true.
I could ask Wanda to do it for you. I used to work with this woman every day. At 10 o'clock, she would announce she was going to the bar, which sounded really bad, but she meant she was going to go play her numbers.
Yeah.
Because they were
exactly.
But yeah, she did it like every day.
So
I was like, okay. I did kind of notice that you use like that ambient noise between songs. Is that like a palette cleanser kind of between, or just a transition?
Yeah, I think palate cleanser is probably a good way to put it. Definitely records we've done before. I think that we are trying to be less of a, you know, you know, our songs are, you know, kind of hard to follow. So we didn't want to put out another record where like a song starts and you need a bunch of, you know, you need like the first 30 seconds to sort of like get your footing. So we wanted to have like, you know, intros on a lot of the songs. And then as far as like any other stuff kind of after or whatever is just sort of our desire to not make you have to constantly be dealing with us, you know, like let's give you a break. You know, this is a long record. This is a long record. It's pretty involved. It's you know, if you're willing to listen to it as a full record, like you deserve some breaks. So
Right. To kind of, and then when the heavy does come in, it sounds even heavier because you've had that. Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. We
Well,
didn't want to do the sort of brutal death metal thing of, you know, song starts, song ends, song starts, song ends.
Right. Well, I've been listening to a lot of Ulcerate lately and a lot of like Deathspell Omega, and they also do that. They'll be like, all right, you need a break. We're just going to jangle for a few minutes so you can get your balance back, and now we're going to crush you again, you know.
Yeah. And we want to make sure that it's not, you know, too, especially because it is such a long record, you know, we don't want to dawdle too much and make you have to listen to a bunch of random noises for too long. But, you know, and that there's that balance too of like, you know, you don't want to make people, I mean, our main thing, you know, especially with records that are sizably long and, you know, we understand that people only have so much time in the day. It's, you know, if you're going to listen to our record, we don't want to waste your time, or we don't want you to sort of be like, I could be doing something else.
No, that's very nice of you. I mean, I have a Swans album where one song is a disc. Like they actually have like, I think there's 3 discs for the album, and one is just one song is they don't give a shit about our time.
No,
they're just like, you know what?
Yeah,
you'll buy this. You know, like it.
I respect that.
We did a review on Conate, and it was like, we got through a Conate song.
Yeah,
he's another one, not considerate of our time.
Yeah, and I respect those kinds of bands. It's just not something that I think we feel very comfortable doing.
Oh, we still got a shirt.
It's like it's been 13 minutes and there's no vocals yet.
So another one of my favorite tracks from this album was Born with an Argument. It is such a vast piece. It has those punishing drums and swirling guitar, but somehow you manage to create a kind of uneasy tension. How do you do that?
Oh man. I mean, that is, you know, like, how do we do that? I don't really know. It's definitely our goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this comes, you know, again, back to sort of like wanting to, you know, sort of the word that probably we return to the most in writing is momentum. And, you know, I don't enjoy records that sort of seem to have this sort of, or songs that sort of seem to have this momentum going, and then they just kind of stop. And then you just kind of are like, oh, you were kind of, you really had me. And then it just kind of feels like it gave up. And so, you know, that kind of perspective is what we roll with as much as we can, is really just trying to make it so that, you know, there's always some sort of like, you know, I mean, you could probably compare it to anything like, you know, any sort of TV series or anything where, you know, you don't want it to seem like you are getting too, you know, navel gazy, or you don't want to make it so that it sounds like you just sort of like, you know, want to jam or that
right.
or do anything like that. So we are constantly just being like, okay, well, how can we kind of make tension sort of still continue so that when, you know, either there is a release or when the song's kind of over, people kind of feel like it's sort of just a full representation of something, instead of sort of being like, okay, well, you know, okay, they're doing something here. I wonder what's going to come next. You know, like we kind of don't want people to have much of a chance or much of a thought in their heads of being like, okay, well, I hope this, you know, next thing is good. Or if there is that kind of sort of longer kind of drawn out thing, we want to make sure it pays off. That's, you know, those are our big goals, is you know, payoffs and tension really is kind of what we base all songwriting on.
Oh, and I remember when I was writing, you know, your review, like Thrown Against the Waves is a long song, but there's so much going on and so many changes. I didn't even realize that it was that long, you know, because you don't lose attention.
Thank you.
But and
yeah,
Damien,
I mean, that's the goal.
And his performance in that, does he need to like think of something to? It's just so, it's gut wrenching.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, he does a great job. I mean, he hates doing vocals. He can't stand it. I mean, Damien and I are best friends. We talk every day and, like, you know, hang out twice a week and have the best time. And, you know, we've been best friends for over 20 years, but the only time he ever gets mad at me is during vocals, because he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be doing them. And I'm just like, oh, could you do that again? He's like, oh God, again.
It's
great.
very,
yeah. So like his perform, you know, I think that if you just, without knowing anything about like behind the scenes, it sounds like, you know, he just goes in some dark room and you know, just like emotes, but it's very much like him just being like, oh, really again? Okay, you get one more, you know, something like that. So,
it's so funny when you were talking about you had me and you lost me. It reminded me of my Opeth stage. They were the masters of that, where they would have me, and then all of a sudden be like, "All right, acoustic time."
Yeah,
for 4.5 minutes. I'm like, well, but no.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike Ackerfeld he just tortured me with that. Yeah.
Yeah, we are trying not to be that.
Yeah, what you were saying reminded me. We were just talking recently with Brian from Val, and I said, when you're on stage, you look so angry. He's like, it's because I don't want to be there. Because he doesn't like to be live. I was cracking up.
Yeah. Another reluctant vocalist.
Yeah. Well, he was talking about there weren't enough people crowd surfing. And I said, if you're changing chords once every 2.5 minutes, do you really expect people to be crowd surfing? It's a little slow. And he was having none of it. He's like, now I'm giving energy, they give energy.
Well, I didn't get to see you live, and I know you recently did an East Coast tour, but smartly you bypassed Baltimore. You did DC Philly thing.
Oh man, we tried to play Baltimore because we actually flew into Baltimore and got our car there and everything. So yeah.
But there was just nothing available, or what?
We couldn't find a venue.
On a venue.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate. But
we missed you.
We spent time in your lovely city. So
yeah.
But I did pull up the footage on YouTube because I always like to kind of see a band live at the one recently at the St. Vitus bar, and I was impressed because everybody was physically into the music. You know, everybody was bobbing and just like your whole body was in it. You know, is that a typical performance?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of how we do it. I mean, you know, I was in, you know, horrible physical pain after like the second show, but I mean, definitely by the end of the tour, by the DC show, which I think was second to last, I was like, what are there stairs here? I don't think I can climb these stairs like this.
Do you guys all ride around in the same van together when you tour? Or?
Yeah. I mean, we for the East Coast, it was a slightly different setup because we just rented some drums and pretty much that was mostly it. And then we just borrowed cabs everywhere we went. So we just got like a Escalade or something. It was weird. We looked like drug dealers.
Yeah, I can't
We actually
imagine.
got pulled over. We actually got pulled over right around Baltimore
God.
because they said, "Oh, this is an area where like people like courier drugs." And I'm like, "I knew it. This is the car." But they let us go. So
Yeah, I can't imagine like checking a really nice, expensive piece of equipment in at an airport. Just, I mean, they don't give a damn about it. I mean,
I
like,
know.
so these bands that you would have to, I totally get why you would, borrow or whatever, because, $4,000 guitar. Oh, well, here's $1,000. Sorry, we lost it. They don't care.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Luckily, we play garbage, so it wasn't really
We make garbage.
Yeah, my bass is super fucked up. So if they want to try and destroy it even further, good luck.
When I was growing up, it was always like, is that one of those Mexican-made Telecasters? But actually, now the Mexican-made stuff sounds fantastic. It's like, who cares? Like, yeah, things have completely changed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you have a preferred brand of bass?
I mean, I've just been playing a Music Man for years and years because they don't break very easily. So
That's a good reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to play Squires because they were cheap. And then I just would kind of break the necks all the time. So
Yep, we do.
well, we play a game on the show if you're ready for a game.
I am.
Okay, this game is called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay.
Okay.
And the way it works is I'm going to give you 5 band names. 4 of them are real. 1 of them I made up. And you're going to try to guess which one is fake. This is me and the Metal Archives random band generator.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. The first one is Donut Lord. The second is Lord Peregrine.
Okay.
The third is Holocaust Lord. The fourth is Lord Booty Call. And the fifth is Lord Drunkalot. So we'll just keep guessing until you get it right or I run out of bands.
What was the first one again?
Donut Lord.
See, I was gonna say Donut Lord has to be real because it sounds fake, but then you bring up Lord Booty Call. Is that
Lord Booty Call? Yeah.
Booty
Is that the
Call?
one you
Yeah,
want to?
so
You think
that
that
one's
one's
throwing
fake?
me off too. That one also seems too ridiculous to not be real. What was the final one? I'm sorry.
Lord Drunkalot.
I'm gonna. God, that also. I'm gonna go with Lord Drunkalot.
No, they're actually from Croatia. Stoner metal, and they have one full-length album out.
Lord Peregrine.
That's very good. Yeah, Lord Peregrine is the one I made up. Yep. All the others are real. Yep. Lord Booty Call, really? I mean, that was the best you could do.
Where are they from?
Lord Booty Call is from, they're a gore grind from Delaware.
Huh, Delaware.
2 full lengths and a bunch of splits. Yeah.
I'll have to check them out.
The Donut Lord band, they've got like 7 albums. They're very serious. They're from Florida. They're like doom black metal. Yeah.
I would have guessed. Yeah, I would have guessed like with the one. I would have guessed they were all from like Norway or something. So.
Yeah.
But
well, that was good. That was good.
Very well.
Thank you.
So did you have a most memorable show on your most recent tour, or for good or bad reasons?
I mean, the Vitus one was great. It was pretty much what we were expecting. I mean, we were hoping to play Vitus, and then it sort of came together very late, and so we were really happy that happened, and it totally fulfilled like what we were hoping for a show like that, especially a Wednesday. But Wednesday in Brooklyn is a Friday in most places. So.
Right.
A DC was probably the best show just because we heard that DC sucked, and that if you could get a show, you'd probably have to get it at a bad venue. And we played this place called the Pie Shop, where you get, instead of drink tickets, you get a ticket for a piece of pie. which
Okay.
they have both savory and dessert pies. So I had some sort of cookie pie. It was delicious.
Okay.
And so aside from the pie, it was just we're not a people don't really mosh to us or do anything. So mostly we're a big stand there with your arms folded kind of band. And so we don't expect anyone to go crazy or mosh or anything. That's not really what we do this for. But for some reason, people just kind of went crazy the whole show in DC, and it was a lot of people, kind of just, and it's funny because we are kind of all over the place. It is kind of funny to see people who really want to be into it, but sort of get a little tongue-tied or flat-footed, based on what's happening, and they sort of have to they kind of stop for a second and they're like, okay, all right, I'll do this. So but that was really nice. It was just, we saw friends, and it was a great venue, and the people who put it on were just total sweethearts, and did the thing that you don't really get much anymore, which is actually like putting a bunch of time and effort into getting people out to the shows, which I think a lot of venues sort of take for granted now, or don't want to put in the work.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to like whine and complain or anything. It's people, if you don't do it, whatever, that's fine. I'm lazy. I don't want to do anything. So, I get it. But but when promoters actually, go the extra mile, it's just so nice. And and you're just so appreciative, and it does, and then people actually come, and not people who are just like coming to a show, but people who actually seem to like be receptive to the music that's playing. Yeah.
I mean, in Europe, some of my friends in Europe were telling me that over there in some of the cities, like in the UK and stuff, the bars want to get the metal out and done by like 10 o'clock, or the rock shows, so they can have the DJ. So they try to make you like really uncomfortable, so you'll get the fuck out. And then the people that come in after that are for the DJ. But I mean, metal people buy beers. We buy alcohol. Like, I don't get that.
Well, it's. I mean, you saying that, one of the more popular clubs in Seattle is called Substation, and it's a cool venue, but that is a place where you have to be done by 10 or 10:30. Wow. Because the thing is that metal guys buy beers, but there's like 600 people who paid like $50 to get into this rave,
Wow.
And they're paying, and they're not buying beers, they're buying like
they have bottled water and ecstasy.
Or they're buying like dumb expensive drinks, like mixed drinks instead of Rainier. So
there's some logic. It sounds like they're okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite logic, but it's definitely the thing where they're just like,
no, I get it.
They're like, well, we put on these raves so you can play this show. So it's just one of those necessary evils.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like the red light on you guys. Was that your idea?
No. That was pure Vitus. So thank you for that. For them.
I like that the club is now more popular than the band. I know. When I say I was at Vitus, I was talking about actually seeing Saint Vitus, and people are like, "What, in Brooklyn?" I'm like, "No.
Yeah.
It was Maryland Death Fest. It was Saint Vitus, the band."
Saint Vitus played Saint Vitus? I don't know that. I don't know if that's.
I don't know if they've ever played there, but every time I bring up that I saw them, it was somewhere, because I saw them a bunch of times. People always think I'm talking about the bar. So.
That's funny.
Like, no, the bar is named after the band.
Yeah, we end up seeing a lot of shows at the Baltimore Soundstage, and we'll do like a show review, and we always have to bitch about the $17 beers.
Yeah. Cool. If you guys come back, try to get to the Metro, because they have cheap beer prices. You'll get a better crowd.
You guys will do that.
But talk about venues, like we were trying to see Dog Fashion Disco, and they were playing at the Depot. You couldn't buy tickets online. I'm like, do you have to go there to get them? Why would you?
That was really weird. That was really strange.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I don't understand.
Well, and also one thing, we were talking about this with we interviewed John Paul from Clutch, And we were just kind of all laughing because people outside of this area, they think that, like Clutch is from Germantown, which is DC, and we're from Baltimore, which is Baltimore. And they're not the same. Like there's Redskins country and there's Baltimore country, and it's not the same. As soon as you get to Columbia, Maryland, it's like, oh, I don't know anything past that, and he knew right away, like he knew, but most people don't. They're like, you should love this band. They're from Maryland. I'm like, oh, Rockville, no,
Well, what I've learned, knowing the separation between East Side and West Side in Baltimore still kind of blows my mind.
Yeah,
because
there's that.
It's like how are you guys just hanging out on one side of the city? But
they're both shitty in their own way, is what it is.
It's like Sharks and the Jets. Seriously,
it really is. I really hate both sides actually. So
that's fair.
East Side is the Dundalk poop factory, and West Side you'll get shot if you sit at a red light too long. So I mean that's pretty much it. Can't you tell how much? That's another thing I noticed when I went to Seattle for the first time. I noticed that the people were trying to like talk it up. They were like, it doesn't rain here nearly as much as you think it does. And the Seahawks are actually really good. And I was like, all right, easy, Mrs. Prozac. Take it easy there. I've never tried to talk anybody into Baltimore. I've always been like, yeah, I've lived here my whole life. We have murders. We're close to DC. What do you want?
Well, I'm originally from Indiana, and I've never tried to talk anyone into moving to Indiana. So
right. Well, my brother lives in Indiana, and yeah, from what he's told me, it's a lot like Baltimore. There's so much danger there. There's so much crime. It's
Well, either that or a
Gary,
lot of
Indiana is really bad.
Oh, Gary. Oh, well,
yeah.
I'm from up by Gary, so so I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what's up next for Great Falls? More tours? Maybe Repute?
Well, yeah, we're waiting to hear to see if our next plan is Europe. So it's either there's a potential to go in March, but we're not 100% sure about that yet. And then if that falls through, which we hopefully will find out in the next hour, sometime this week, hopefully.
Okay, right.
Hopefully we'll know that this week, and then we can kind of make our decisions. And if that falls through, then we're going to aim for the fall. So
have you been out there before?
Playing Enemy was out there. So Damien and I had gone out in like 2005. Damien's been out a few times with his old band before I joined.
I'm just curious what the crowd's out there like for your kind of music, compared to here.
Well, I mean, Playing Enemy is very similar to Great Falls. It's kind of the same shit. So like, so crowds were really receptive. You have to play a lot longer, which I didn't love, but they're just they're just way more appreciative to have American bands come through, and talking to people who have done it far more recently. It seems to be very similar. Just very appreciative. Want you to play more and more songs. The thing is that like it's not just they want you to play more, like you like have to play more. They get really mad at you. And this band Anodyne, who we just did a split with this band called Radiation Black Body, and two of the guys from Radiation Black Body were in this band Anodyne, and they had a 30-minute set. That's like all they did. And they went to Europe, and Josh, the bass player, will always tell this story where this guy like comes up to him. He's just like, "You need to play more." And there's like, "This is our set. This is it." And the guy like got like irate. He's just like, Keel Hall came, played for an hour, and he's like, "Well, that's them." Like,
wow.
I'd love to watch Keel Hall for an hour.
I haven't
too,
heard that name in a long time. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. The demand.
Yeah, but I've heard that. I've heard that like in Germany, like people in America cannot imagine this, but in Germany, you finish your set, you clean up your, we take down your stuff, you're standing at the merch table, and an angry German man comes up to you and says, We need to talk about something very important to me. My wife's favorite song. You did not play it at all. And this is very, very unacceptable. I mean, this is, I mean, this really happens. I mean, that doesn't happen here. I mean, it just
No.
doesn't happen.
God, no. Lord, no.
That's like the dark side of being passionate about music, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Where's Sue
I mean-
saying with the Hell Freaks they were naked? Was that Germany?
Germany, yeah.
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 She said she looked up and like the whole front row was naked men.
And she said, but it was Germany, so I thought, oh, well.
Yeah, I mean that's what you get. It's just like going on a bus there, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. The demands of rock stardom, apparently, no matter who you
I
are.
guess. Yeah.
But yeah. So,
Very interesting.
Well, congratulations. I'm a big fan. Mark is, and I've been seeing you pop up on a lot of best of for 2023. So
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
There's time for that. Yeah.
yeah, I've been seeing you on a lot of lists.
Have you been getting the Spotify wrap up stuff from people when you're in my Spotify wrap up? Yeah.
yeah.
Where's that tracking all year? Can I get that every month? How come? Why do you rub my face in that at the end of the year? And then I'm just like, well, what about how did I do in April? You know, like I don't understand that at all.
They should do it. They should do an April one. I agree.
I keep waiting for it to be like, if you like these stats for $4.99 a month, you could. I would gladly pay it, but I don't know what it is. Spotify's so weird, you know.
Yeah.
Did you hear
Yeah.
about the Weird Al thing?
Oh yeah.
The thanks for the sandwich.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Yeah. Which I definitely, we don't expect to make a dime off of this ever. But give Weird Al some more money. Come on.
I don't know. I think if we were getting 80 million streams, you know, I would expect a little more than $12.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe at least a steak dinner and a blow
No,
pop, something.
That's all kids going repeat, and he's still not getting paid.
Horrible.
Oh well. All right. Well, this was great. Thanks so much for doing this. I'm glad we're able to finally connect.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. This
This is great.
And this is not our normal turnaround time, but your show will probably be up tomorrow. So
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We're
that
a little
is good.
behind because of the whole computer
computer
crash.
frying. Yeah, we had a couple others in the hopper and the computer died and we can't get to them. So
Oh no.
you guys are gonna have
Yeah, we have
much
to,
quicker turnaround than
we have to redo Lord Dying because, and I thought, oh no, because we went back to the PR person. Luckily, it's a different band member because I was going to be like, forget you ever heard these questions, but it's a different band member. So I was like, sure.
And
It's going to be still less awkward.
I was so devastated that we lost that interview because there's a part of the interview where I'm like, what shirt are you wearing? Is that King Crimson Red? And he goes, it is. And I was like, ching, gone, lost in the ether.
I get
Yeah.
it.
So
Oh,
I
that's
came off looking so smart, but oh well, you know. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's all good now.
Technology, what are you
We're
gonna do?
We're just doubling up a little bit this week. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Lord Dying, that Nick actually, our Nick, he played in Lord Dying for a little bit.
Oh,
No way.
wow.
So
Yes, they're a
small
Portland-
world.
Yeah, they're a Portland band, so
Yeah, very cool. Cool
Yeah,
band.
all the darkness and gloom.
Absolutely.
indeed.
Thank the Dark Lord for it.
The Sounds of Decay!
Okay, Sounds of Decay 1 is Dying Wish Symptoms of Survival. Only out of the perpetual cloudy, majestic, pine-covered Portland, Oregon could succumb the odes to human suffering served up by the five-piece metalcore force of Dying Wish with their sophomore offering, Symptoms of Survival.
The first and title track comes erupting with an assault of the full machine gun drum blast of Jeff Yambra. Emma Boster's vocals ups the acidity levels, raspy like there's glass in her throat as she spellcasts her anger forth. Drum rolls continue to build the tension while the guitars of Sam Reynolds and Pedro Camilla interplay. Spoken samples add to the layers.
Most of the 11 songs are compact blasts, 7 of which fall under the 3-minute mark. One of the longer cuts is the power ballad Paved in Sorrow. Starting out so soft like a symphony warming up, the mood is somber with strum guitar, clean vocals, and slow lapping drums. I thought Spotify had gone rogue for a second, actually. As the song continues, the power builds. Emma can't resist slipping on her pointed hat and sliding in a few unclean vocals. The softer side is short-lived as follow-up track Tongues of Lead pummel back with blast beats and riffing hauntedly down-tuned guitar.
Watch My Promises Die is a definite highlight, with Emma slamming into croak mode, drums highlighting with rolls and fills. The guitars go all Gorod style with that short staccato melodic rise. Emma switches back to clean vocals for a bit. This time, the guys come in with a gruff chorus before the drums deftly show us out.
All the tracks are solid, core perfect homages to the genre, while not being limited about throwing in surprises. Symptoms of Survival is a perfect blend of musical refrain and belligerence. It's sure to please fans of Bleeding Through and Dead to Fall. May Emma rule at the helm, a high priestess of fury, red, standing out in the bleak backdrop of Oregon. So let's play a song.
This is Dying Wish with Lost in the Fall.
Okay, Sounds of Decay 2 is Evil Gloom. The album is called Addictions. 5-piece from the town of Fukuoka on the southern tip of Japan. Evil Gloom plays a heavy, trappy style of nu metal with leonine, harsh vocals and a proclivity for pogoing around in hoodies. Addictions is their first full length, offering 9 songs that mainly mill about the 3+ minute range, packing in a maximum processed riffing and violent percussion in each song. Vocalist Demi runs the full gamut with a Japanese-English blend of witchy rasps and guttural woofs, even sneaking in some clean vocals when Mom stops paying attention. It's harsh stuff, headphone heady, with all manner of bleeps, blips, and hip-hop flavored loops rushing at us from all directions at once. It's hard to conceive where all this darkness and anger is coming from, seeing as none of them look older than my favorite pair of motorcycle boots.
Despite the harshness, there are tracks on this thing that will get your ass shaking, like the hooky industrial groover interlude. Demi burbling rapid fire against synth swips and a stick club ready beat. Buster Call grooves just as hard, conjuring synthwave corrupted guitar and an expert blend of the heavy organic drums and programming from drummer U. The final track, Addictions, is one of the longer cuts on the record, scratching into Linkin Park territory just a smidge, cycling through pounding riffs 1 minute and introspective, clean, and female vocals the next.
It's a fascinating combination of genre surfing, steady hooks, and visceral aggression. Looking forward to great things in the future from this exciting new band. So let's play a song.
This is Buster Call.
Okay, Sound of Decay 3 is Lord Dying, Clandestine Transcendence. It would seem that 2024 will start off with a bang, judging from the quality of the 4th full length from our favorite sludge metal lumberjacks, Lord Dying. The band continues to experiment with the genre surfing that began largely with 2019's Mysterium Tremendum, with additional flavors provided by new bass player Alyssa Mocare, M-O-C-E-R-E, Mocare? With additional flavors provided by new bass player Alyssa Mocare and drummer Kevin Schwartz, both of whom joined the band just after the aforementioned release in 2019. Of course, there's plenty of the band's signature molten riffing, trample you underhoof percussion, and gruff vocal husk, but there's also a fair share of acoustic bits, psychedelic interludes, female vocals thanks to Alyssa, and lyrical guitar harmonies that combine to make this much more than a run-of-the-mill sludge metal affair.
The band continues to push song lengths, most around the 5 minutes, with the exception of the 6+ minute final push into the sun and the 8-minute monolith Dancing on the Emptiness, a track that moves from skronky mid-pace to keyboard-enhanced thunder before ushering in the dreamiest guitar solo on the entire record. A Bond Broken by Death is quite a departure. Progressive in a hammers of misfortune sort of way, with the acoustic intro, clean vocals, and guitar harmonies. Of course, it's not to be confused with a Gong record at this point. Cuts like lead-off single I Am Nothing, I Am Everything, packing in 5 minutes of pure, high on fire informed violence. Perhaps the most interesting cut on the album is Soul Metamorphosis, which alternates smartly between trippy interludes and brutal beauty, building up to a near thrash crescendo to close itself out. Heavy, catchy, and laced with variety, Clandestine Transcendence proves it was worth the 5-year wait.
Okay, let's play a song that says, I am nothing, I am everything. Ah, this was a good one.
It was. I hope the show was worth the wait.
Oh, I think so,
Oh,
because
yeah.
our food storage jokes rock the house. Yeah.
Yeah, we had lots of fun with boycotting Micro Center, which we didn't actually boycott. This was our boycott.
Yeah, this is our boycott. Yeah. And great chat with Shane. A great guy. Yeah.
Lots of great bands out this week.
Yep, absolutely.
There is too many. We've been trying to compile our year-end top 10, and I am having a really hard time.
Yes, it's mind-boggling how much great music came out this year, you know.
Oh, and maybe we're gonna explain why you were never gonna see either one of us with short hair again.
It looks like shit. This has been the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Special thanks to Shane from Great Falls for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Gustaf Jorde of Defleshed. Sounds of Decay theme by Steve Rathbone of Lair of the Minotaur. Season 3 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. Deaf Ears bands, check them out. Dying Wish, Evil Gloom, Lord Dying. All content 2023, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast.
It's that time of year, and just remember, don't let friends be a half-ass jingler. Always jingle all the way.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.